It's great to have you here on the Clark Howard Show. You know, our mission is to serve you with advice and information that empowers you so you can make better financial decisions in your life. I hope you have taken advantage of something priceless. It's also free. Our free newsletters that you can check out at clark.com/newsletters. I am so proud of what our team puts together. And know this, unlike a lot of other organizations, it's as easy to unsubscribe as subscribe. If you find out that I don't know what I'm talking about and the newsletters are not as great as I think they are. But I think you'll find all kinds of ways to stretch every buck when you check out our newsletters. So it's May. Welcome to May Day. Well, you may have been dreaming of May flowers and higher temps. You aren't going to be excited about your air conditioning bills you're going to have this summer. And I've got tips for you to save as summer approaches. And another way you can save money on your monthlies, those bills that come every single month like clockwork, and there's a new deal on a cell phone plan I want to make sure you know about. And there's great news on being able to compare what the service really is, what somebody says versus what you're getting for home internet or for a cell phone plan. I'll tell you how that works. It's something that the cable monsters, the monopoly local phone companies, and the cell phone companies hate, which means you're going to love it. So, I love warm weather. I love hot weather. I mean, I even went to Death Valley in summer when it was 122 degrees. I wondered why there was nobody out there except foreigners and me. Because I'm not very smart, and they wanted to go, so it makes us even. But what I can't stand is when those power bills start climbing and climbing and climbing. So I want you to think about things you can do that you're not just passive, that you can make a difference in what those bills are going to be. And I talk about this especially in the winter, is zoning for heating, which is something that in other countries people have done forever. Even with central heating, they've always done zoning where if you've got, with these larger houses that have become how so many of us live in America, and you have rooms that are never really used, so you don't want to heat those when nobody's in them. And you want to heat where you'd be cold that you're in. And zoning is something that the poor man's way of doing it is you close vents in rooms you're not using, not what heating and air conditioning contractors recommend. They recommend that you do a split system where you can control through the dampers what air goes to different places in your home. Conditioned air, colder air in the summer, hot air in the winter. Or you could just pipe in the voice of politicians in the winter, and all the hot air would heat your rooms. But I digress. So that's a real easy thing. You've heard me for years talk about the energy setback thermostats and using those. But as has been pointed out in the past, in areas of the country of high humidity in the summer, you don't want to go overboard. You want to have cool air servicing areas you're not using in your home. Not necessarily as cold as it would be elsewhere in the home where you are, but you don't want to have air conditioning not on because the danger the high humidity can cause to your home, potentially even causing mold growth. You want to make sure as we move into the cooling season, your filters and vents are clean and clear. And if you have not done so, and you're in a home or townhome, pull down the attic stair, go look upstairs. If there's lights in there, turn them on. If there's not, an ultra bright flashlight, and look and see if you can see the rafters. If you can see the rafters, you are throwing money away because you do not have it adequately insulated. And you're paying to cool or heat the attic instead of your living space. Insulation is a cheap fix. In fact, one of our employees is insulating today because there was not adequate insulation in the attic. She's not doing it herself. She hired a contractor. But this is a job that some people do it yourself. Most often, it's something that people do with insulation that is done by a professional. But there's lots of things you can do yourself to improve the energy efficiency moving into the summer cooling season. We've got a full list at Clark.com of 15 different things you can do, broken down into bite-sized parts of things you can do to reduce those bills and still be comfortable like you want to be in the space you're in your home. The other thing is there are energy efficiency rebates that are in effect right now that in theory are on the books till 2032. I don't believe it. Future Congresses give things, they take things away. So there's no time like the present to do those energy improvements that will get you a big federal tax credit to a small federal tax credit, depending on what you're doing, and reduce those bills going forward and not be worried about a heat wave heating up your wallet too much when the bill comes in. Christa?
Danny in Arizona says, hey, Clark, if I take a loan for Tesla's home solar from Tesla, can I later refinance the loan if rates drop? Their current rate is 7.99%.
Yeah, if it is a loan, you can do that. It may have prepayment penalties. You want to make sure it doesn't. You want to make sure that Tesla solar loan also has simple interest loan calculation. That means that you don't get hurt with stacked interest up front if you were later to refi into somebody else's loan product. The 7.99 is a subsidized rate. That's lower than market is for a lot of home improvement kind of things. But later, if interest rates moderate in the economy, you may be able to take that out into a lower rate.
Matt in South Carolina says we have a short-term money crunch and we're looking for the best options. We have a beach condo that has just been killing us with regime fees, special assessments, and insurance. We have yet another special assessment coming in the fall that will be $20,000 to $30,000. Basically,
say that number again for a condo. The special assessment.
$20,000 to $30,000
for a single special assessment. This is happening in beach communities and coastal communities all around the country.
Is that something you'd have to disclose if you're selling it to somebody? I would hope.
So, all right.
If it's coming, right?
It depends on the state, but the thing is, if you're using a buyer's agent experienced in a beach community knows, and really a buyer's agent representing you in any condominium purchase should know that you want to see the books of the condo association. You want to see the 5-year plan, and because that states what maintenance and improvements and repairs need to be made in a 5-year cycle. And if there are any special assessments that have been voted on or will be voted on that you would be responsible for as a buyer. Some agents will also do it as a formal question to the listing agent and ask for a seller disclosure of any condominium special assessments under consideration or that have been adopted that are due later.
Okay. Back to Matt's albatross of a condo question.
Yes.
He says, basically, over the last several years, we have used up all of our liquid funds with this condo.
Oh, boy.
We do have it for sale now, but there's probably a good chance it will not sell quickly. We will make quite a bit on the sale of it, approximately $400,000, and we have very well-funded retirement accounts. Is it just a liquid cash? It's just a liquid cash flow problem. What would you recommend to cover these upcoming fees? We do have money in a Roth IRA, and I believe we can take out the amount we've contributed so far, which would be probably about $20,000. Would that be the best option? Or take out a short-term home equity loan? Thank you so much for your help and advice.
So I would say that of the options you have, first of all, the really bright ray of sunshine here is somebody's going to come along and take over your problem, and you're going to have a great solution, a $400,000 net gain. So I know it's been a burden, but it's going to be somebody else's joy, and they don't know the history. They want to be there looking at the beach. So they will come along and make it happen. As for the solution, since your goal is to sell, obviously, actively, not a home equity loan, a home equity line of credit for a short-term borrow, which is your intention, would be my preferred course of action. And if you are a credit union member, many credit unions now are doing home equity lines of credit with no closing costs. So you'd be able to set that up, do the borrowing, have a floating interest rate, but it is something you can pay off at any time the second the property sells.
Is it a thing that if the condo is listed for sale, you can't get an equity loan, though? I remember being asked, is the property for sale when I've applied?
Well, I made a false assumption here because I assumed they were going to do the home equity line against their principal residence, not the vacation home.
Okay, that makes total sense. I'm sorry. Okay, Travis in Maryland says, my coworker was telling me about permanent homeowners insurance. He was quoted what amounted to 15 years worth of premiums up front, but will never make another homeowner's insurance payment as long as he lives there. Have you heard of this product?
So this floated around off and on over the years. There are problems around the country with fake homeowners coverage. And it would be likely that this is not a legitimate sale-buy opportunity that your coworker is experiencing. I don't want you to go tell him, hey, I don't know your relationship with them. If you should say, hey, really check this out first. How would you check it out? You want to make sure it's actually issued by a well-known and recognized insurance company. 2, you want to check their rating with AM Best to see if they are financially strong, financially solvent. You also want to read the terms and conditions of the policy and see what you're actually getting in this 15-year policy.
Yeah, I would also call that insurance company to make sure this person isn't a fake agent.
Right, that's a good point. That's why you're here, to bring in the details I forget.
And it doesn't make sense, right? Because you're going to need more coverage over time. Like, right. Your house will rise in value. It just doesn't,
Right, it is a very, very oddball thing, which is why there is no mainstream product where you pay for multiple years of homeowners insurance, because the insurers have to underwrite the risk, again, year after year after year. So I would be very skeptical. I don't want you to tell your coworker that, again, that this is a scam.
Well, if they haven't done it yet, maybe.
Yeah, if they haven't done it yet, I would say, hey, I would suggest, again, depending on how close your relationship with them is, make sure it really is with a legitimate insurance company, that the insurance company is financially solvent, those kind of things. Again, AM Best is where they should check. Speaking of something that's wonderful, it's better, may not be the best, but better, a great deal on cell phone plans from one of my favorite cell phone companies, and I'm going to tell you about it straight ahead. As we told you on Clark.com 2 weeks ago, one of my favorite cell phone providers has a new annual plan that began 2 weeks ago for new subscribers and is available for existing ones through this month of May. Don't know if this is going to go on past the month of May as an offer, but it's great. It's from Visible. Visible is the discount brand owned by Verizon as a defensive play because Verizon has been weak in the marketplace, losing market share to others because Verizon's so unbelievably expensive to be with. So Visible is a brilliant cell phone provider, runs on Verizon's network because it is Verizon. And they offer two simple plans. One, a very basic unlimited plan on Verizon's network, and also unlimited mobile hotspot. And the streamlined plan is $25 a month, and that includes all taxes and junk fees. And then for a heavy user, they offer Visible Plus, which is much more money, $45 a month, also including taxes and fees, but is for somebody who travels a lot, somebody who is on their phone a lot, not where Wi-Fi is available. And it is the equivalent on Visible of being on Top Dog Verizon's really expensive plans. So you get a ton of stuff with it, including the reason one of my children switched to it is she gets her Apple Watch. She's got one of those cellular Apple Watches. You get the Apple Watch plan for free, where everybody usually charges you a rip-off $10, $15 or so a month for a smartwatch plan. You get it free. You get unlimited hotspot at decent speed, and you get a lot of international calling features with it. So that's nothing new at $25 and $45. But right now they're offering, as new subscribers already have known about, if they have read about it the last couple of weeks, now to existing subscribers, you can go from a monthly payment to an annual payment, which is really valuable for the heavy users on the Visible Plus. Because instead of paying $45 a month, you pay an equivalent of $32 a month by paying for a year ahead. And this is really important for existing subscribers because you already know, are you happy with Visible, not happy with Visible, to take that leap and pay them the year in advance. The yearly fee is $395. So you pay them, if you can afford it, you pay them the $395. You're done for 12 months. You paid for everything. All taxes, all junk fees, everything, the equivalent of $32 a month. On the base plan, yeah, you save money, but not very much. It drops it to $22 a month because you're paying, was it $275 for a year? I don't think I'd do that. I'd want you more to be a free agent for what deals come across in the marketplace. But if you are a heavy user of Visible or of a cell phone plan, I can tell you, we don't hear complaints about Visible. If people were having a problem with it, we would be hearing it. We're not. And so to be able to have that year on their ultra high-end plan for an equivalent of $32 a month, you think about how much people are paying for mainline AT&T, T-Mobile, or Verizon on their cell phone plans, on their flagship brand names. I mean, man, this spreading out of the buckets I've been talking about, which is a marketing term where the brand name, the big three brand names, are running their prices higher and higher and higher and higher because the brand loyalists just take it and pay it. But if you are someone more loyal to your wallet than you are to the brand name, the buckets are spreading and the prices are going down as you shop around in this three-tier market, which is first the three brand names, then the discounters the three brand names own, and then the independents that are out there as well. And you got to really make a strong case. It's hard to make why somebody would stay with AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile instead of going with one of their discounters they own or one of the off-brands that use their networks. Oh, and the new charts about this. You know how you look at a consumer product in the supermarket and it'll have a nutrition label? Now there's nutrition labels for cell phone companies and when you buy internet from a monopoly local phone company or the cable monster. And so it'll tell you what really happens versus what they say. For example, with Visible, when you look at their nutrition label, it's called the broadband facts. Wow, you see how the service on the $25 a month Visible plan is, for the speeds and stuff, way degraded from what you get on the $45 a month plan. And now you can see that with like home internet. When you go to the monopoly local phone company's website and you look at the different offers, you see the chart. And so they'll tell you, you're getting speeds of up to blah, blah, blah. But what are you actually getting? They have to show you what you're actually getting. This is funny with the Visible thing. Typical upload speed starts at, on the cheap plan, at 1 Mbps, which means it's not much faster than dial-up was 20 years ago. On the premium plan, the minimum is 6, maximum 37. So you can now see not what they market, but what you're actually legally going to get. And that's great.
Okay, Andy in Arizona says, I hate false advertising. I recently reviewed an ad on TV for a car warranty. It said, never pay for another repair, take your car anywhere, even to a dealer, etc. I talked to my trusted independent mechanic who I've used for years. And 1, not all repairs are covered. 2, they will send used parts for repair. Sure, you can take your car to a dealer, but which dealer will install used parts? These scammers are not mechanics and are only interested in making a quick buck. We need to send these scammers to jail.
You know, Andy, this thing with the fake car warranties has been a problem for as long as I have been providing consumer advice, all the way back to the mid-1980s. And hope springs eternal, and a lot of these are true criminal enterprises. And as best I know, no one is ever prosecuted. They just end up administratively having to sign consent agreements at some point, or more often they do bust outs where they will run the heavy rotation TV ads or on the internet or social media or whatever. They collect a lot of money from people, and then they do what are called bust outs. They just vanish into the night with all the premiums people have paid. You do not ever want to trust any of these TV ads for car warranties. The only car warranty I've ever seen you have a chance of trusting is one sold directly by the manufacturer of your automobile, their brand warranty, backed by them. And if there's any independent warranty that's legit, I ain't seen it yet.
Jonathan in Massachusetts says, my family has had an HSA account for over a decade, and it's grown quite fast. Is there a way to get a higher rate of return on your HSA or even invest a portion of it? I'd hate to lose the earning potential of this money for the next 20 plus years.
Oh, Jonathan, I love you got this money in the HSA. You're using it for the purpose that gives you the greatest benefit, which is long-term tax-free growth and spending. But you're not getting real growth if it's only in a savings account. And the HSA savings accounts usually pay really pitiful rates of interest. You want to invest that money by moving it from whoever it's stored with now to my favorite choice these days is Fidelity Investments. Fidelity offers their full array of investment products for HSA holders where you're paying virtually zero fees year after year, no commissions. The money grows tax-free again. You will spend it tax-free way down the road. You can go in index funds of various types, whatever. Go read up on the Fidelity HSA account, and Fidelity will help you with the paperwork process of moving the money from this anemic savings account provider into a true investment account for HSAs.
Holly in Texas says, my financial planner just suggested I diversify more and put my funds in a newer Schwab product called direct indexing that has a fee of 0.04%. I asked why I wouldn't purchase an S&P 500 or Schwab 1000 funds instead. And she said because this is more personalized and offers tax loss harvesting. I currently have an intelligent portfolio account as well as a self-directed brokerage. What are your thoughts?
If you're using a financial planner, Holly, and they want to do direct investing so that they can do more tax-efficient investing for you, it is a step further than I have been interested in going into direct investing, but direct indexing. But it's something that is a corner of the investment market. It requires more work, not on your part, but generally on the part of the financial planner that you're paying. And the whole idea is to be able to more precisely target your individual situation, individual tax situation. It is more complexity than I'm excited by. But again, if you trust this financial planner, you are not being feed for doing it beyond the normal fees that are involved with the direct indexing, then I see no problem with it. And maybe in your tax circumstance, maybe some benefit. I would not put a high priority on direct indexing, but it is a thing and it is legitimate.
All right, we've got a Clarkie today. Let's hear from Joanna. Are you ready for it?
Sure.
Hi, Clark. My name's Joanna. I'm a second-generation Clark Howard listener. I grew up hearing my mom listen to your radio show all the time, and I started listening to you myself when I started college. I'm now graduated and living back in Georgia, and my mom and I are actually the biggest fan of Clark Howard's advice to go where the deals are. We are headed on a 8-night Alaskan cruise that we paid $400 a piece for, with airfare out of Atlanta to Vancouver for also less than $200. So we are super excited about this deal of a lifetime. We've never had any plans to go to Alaska, but because of this deal, we are going and we are excited. So thank you for all your advice. You are so wonderful, so helpful, and we love you. Thanks.
Oh, that is so fun. $400 for an 8-night cruise?
That's crazy.
$200 from Atlanta to Vancouver. Vancouver is such an expensive air travel market. Crazy expensive. Wow, I think I've been lapped here by Joanna.
Joanna and her mom, yeah, for sure.
I think they are ready to teach me how to save money. I love it. Have an absolutely great time. I love Alaska. I've been there 4 times, and the 5th time I was going to do I don't know if you remember this, I was scheduled to go give a speech in Anchorage, and I had planned it out where after the speech I was going to go travel around Alaska again, and then COVID came along and the speech was canceled and never rebooked. As they say, postponed.
Right.
But never rebooked. So now it's up to me to get back to Anchorage.
And as much as I've been saying negative things about cruising lately, I do believe cruising is a great way to see Alaska. I did go with my mother and my daughter who was young at the time, and it was a perfect way to see it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Alaska is pretty special, except in winter. I ain't doing the winter thing. Not happening. So
if you want to call us with a Clarkie message, you call 404-981-2071.
And have an absolutely great rest of your day. The first day of May, many people's favorite month of the year. Do you have a favorite month of the year?
No.
My favorite is June because my birthday happens on the longest day or second longest day of each year in the Northern Hemisphere. I love all the daylight, but May is really special too. My wife Lane prefers May over June, and definitely June over July because she likes it warm. She doesn't like it baking hot. I like it baking hot. So anyway, have a great day. You didn't need to know that.
Okay.
And remember what you do need to know, that what we're about is you learning ways to save more, spend less, and avoid getting ripped off. See you tomorrow.